started. But yes, there is a certain section or generation which would be the first to jump in and really drive a lot of this work. And then there would be others who would be the followers. But yes, it's not something which cannot impact across all the ages is what I've seen in my experience.
Great, sounds good. So at this point, I'd like to open this up to the audience, just taking cue from Ashu here, so that there's a little bit more engagement on the other side, right? So we welcome your questions. You can stand up, you can grab a mic. Please introduce yourself and direct your question at any one of us.
I am Professor Rothki and former chairman in public sector. Now, how far this gamification or playing game can be useful for workmen, those who are in the operating factory, because at middle level, at senior level, and some senior level, we have also played that game even in Henley Management College. They do play how to increase the productivity, how to increase the share value and all that, computerization, and every time they play and they make the leader, production, marketing, finance and all that. So that type of game is very good. And that continues for 2 days, and they also see how the thing moves. Now, what about the workman, workforce, or those people at the lower level? So, how to motivate them? Because all productivity and other thing increases very much from the lower level, so that the overall gain is there in the organization.
Who wants to? You want to take that?
Yeah, okay, let me take that. Listen, as I said that you understand, is there any need for doing it, right? You feel that there's a need, for example, take the example of Jabong. We have people, majority people, we call delivery guys. Okay, so we want to inculcate a behavior change in terms of customer orientation. How do that? We can't spare 2 days, as you said that, we can't send them to offsite for 2 days and have gala of time. Not possible, because on everyday basis, they deliver 50,000 SKUs. So not easy. So what we do, we have different programs sitting on the desktop or in their laptops. They have different programs, different animation workshops where they can go through that, different reward programs where they can outdo others, okay? Basis that we try to bring that change in the person, and they are being rewarded and they get different points. I don't know details of that, but we have different programs, basis the feedback we get from customers, which can be displayed on our R&D program, and they get rewarded. When they see that person has been rewarded for that behavior, so he brings that change in himself. So as I said that, it can be utilized for across the strata, but what is important, I again repeat, why you want to do it. Just don't do it because of fad. Because somebody in one of the sessions talked about, don't do that. Be very clear why you want to do it, which behavior, what you want to change, and how you will do it. You take all these aspects into consideration, time constraint, as you said that, category of people, how I can reach them people, how I can implement that, how can I monitor that, how I can motivate those guys. Because again, understand that, don't do it as one-off program. Don't do it one time. Ensure that it gets sustained, right? Sustainability is a big question mark. If you don't do it right the first time, you'll not be able to sustain it.
Yes, I can also. So I'll give you a typical example. You're talking about the shop floor, probably in a... Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in other areas in Punjab, every state has different culture and different outlook.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, some culture actually people actually thought that productivity is essential, and they actually competitive. From that consideration point of view,
Very practical example. Let me take the example from shop floor, okay? That's the question is, right? I worked in Honda. Honda in Greater Noida is one of the most volatile industrial relation belt, right? A lot of problems, what to do. We want to have constructive IR. So what we did it's a very long time, it's around 20 years back. So that one form of experiential learning we installed in the organization. We had various case studies, various videos of Modi Nagar, West Bengal, and told them, guys, if you behave in this manner, you'll be ruined. So made them understand, if we indulge in a behavior which is not constructive, which is not productive, eventually you are the loser. And the point I said in the beginning, that change happens when they realize there's a need for change. They realize it hit them so very hard that, okay, if we do that, Honda factory may get shut down and we may not get our salary. Our family will be on the road. And that's how we did it. And please check it out. This is one factory in Greater Noida that till date is one of the most beautifully managed organizations with respect to industrial relations, because we used very constructive, experiential way of industrial relations at that point of time. Could be many, but I'll just give an example.
Okay, I just want to come back to, I started off my career also in a shop floor, in a car factory, tire factory. I think when I spoke of those three components of the pyramid, one being the points and leaderboards, etc., I think those aspects have been there in factories for a long, long time. The quality movement, the quality circles, how many days since the last accident, those aspects have been there, right? And I think that's also been a very big aspect of success at the shop floor. Now, if we look at adding the other two aspects to the blue collar, we've seen examples in very, very staid industries like, say, oil refineries, oil wells, right? Upstream oil and gas in our research. When you actually use the same principles but add some of the additional principles like autonomy, mastery, and purpose, right? For example, leaderboard. If we say, okay, someone has done productivity, you see the top 3 people are there on the leaderboard, and I'm an average worker, and somebody is making 1,000 things, and I am at a 200, 250 thing. It's not something which will motivate me. When we come back to gamification principles, you will find in most of the games, for example, Candy Crush Saga, the leaderboard will not show you who's the top. It will show you where are you, who are your 2 friends who are just above you, who are the 2 friends who are just below you, right? And what do you need to do to beat your next friend, right? Now, these are some of the additional principles which are actually being utilized more and more. The second is ability to talk and socialize, right? For example, oil fields, a big oil company is using oil fields as collaboration methods across different oil fields for people to exchange thoughts on a social media platform, right? So using the same base, but the new research findings can actually make a big difference across industries.
Why do we have a strike in the motor scooter factory if you are all experienced? No question. No telling यार क्या बताएंगे? ये कहानियाँ हैं, बड़ा अच्छा लगता है, वहाँ पे क्यों नहीं कर सकते? और वही मारुति जो सक्सेसफुल रही आपके गुड़गांव में, I did by this some work on engagement on behalf of an Indian consultant at other place. They were not successful. They were not able to replicate. So just as an input.
So you won't answer this question.
No, I just wanted to know. Okay,
let me share the perspective in case you want to hear that.
As a student of industrial engineering, I believe that some of these initiatives should be taken up only when you have hit the wall. जैसे incentives तब करने चाहिए जबकि सारे साधारण तरीके आप खत्म कर चुके हैं. प्यार से आपने बात की, सिखाया, बताया, हैंड होल्डिंग की. जब ये सारी कहानी खत्म हो गई, उसके बाद ये करना चाहिए. क्या ऐसा होता है कि आपने सारे हथियार ट्राई किए थे, उसके बाद गेमिफिकेशन पे आ गए? तीसरा, we still don't have many examples of brick and mortar companies. We're still talking of IT and all that, which is great. In the beginning, you talked about this young 32-year gentleman picking up trades. Can you name some? उसने वो स्टोरी पढ़ी, वहाँ से ट्रेड्स दिखे और वो लीडर बन गया. ये भी मुझे बड़ा अटपटा सा लगता है. 32 इयर्स के लीडर होते हैं, ये सबको पता है. और लीडरशिप के बारे में जिनको थोड़ी बहुत नॉलेज है, मेरी लिमिटेड ही है, ये कोई खास बात नहीं है कि वहाँ से देखा और वो लीडरी का उसको जज्बा आ गया, तो बहुत ज़बरदस्त कोई ग्रेट एग्जाम्पल नहीं है। फोर्थ, मुझे लग रहा है कि सारा अटैक इंडिविजुअल पर है, उसी को आप पकड़ के रोबोट बना रहे हैं, आप उसी पे सारा आप कसर निकाल रहे हैं। व्हाट अबाउट द एनवायरनमेंट? You are, please don't mind, I don't mean any particular company. It may be a rotten company, not having any interest in people, but you are only doing this neuroscience और उसको लगा के gamification से उसके behavior को change कर रहे हैं. What about changing the behavior of the company? The culture of the company. Is there gamification for that? Kindly give some example. Last, as a student of competencies, what behavior are we talking here? ये थोड़ी है कि भाई अच्छा behavior होना चाहिए. Behaviors are determined from competencies. Yeah. Are you people coming up with competencies
Sir,
that you require?
I'll have to interrupt you right now. Can you please ask us one question, because we can't answer all 7 questions, we'll run out of time. If you can just boil it down to one question for us.
Please don't mind, my dear. बेटा मैं भी कोई बच्चा नहीं हूँ, तो ये इस I am a past president of DMA. इन सेशंस का मतलब नहीं है वन वे की तरफ से सुनना. आई एम नॉट शोइंग माई नॉलेज, आई जेन्युइनली वांट टू नो.
Sure.
So I don't like it ever कि बस ये अब टाइम खत्म हो गया, खाना खाना है, अब बंद कर दिए. लास्ट टाइम भी यही हुआ. Please take full advantage of people here and let everybody get benefited, including me, who would like to talk to us. I am still practicing HR consultant.
No, sir, with due respect.
Competencies के बगैर आप कैसे behavior को pick up करते हैं और कौन से behavior को attack करते हैं? Kindly बताइए.
Yes, sir. आपके with due respect to you, sir, and we have due regard for your vast experience. But listen, just to, I'm not that experienced as you are. You spoke about Honda. जो मैंने आपको example दिया था वो Honda cars का था. और sure, you're right. जो strike हुई थी Honda motorcycles 2 wheelers में हुई थी. जो ध्यान देने वाली बात है, and you know it, and you said that, is about people who manage the show. जो जिस प्रकार से वो अपने workers से behave करते हैं, people are different, right? Culture is different. The culture which we established in Honda Sale Car, the center stone of that was respect for the individual. That was that for the respect, for demonstrating that respect, the biggest role model was my CEO. We did that from HR. We ensured that. जिस प्रकार से हम वर्कर्स से बिहेव करते थे, वो हमने कल्चर बना के रखा और वो रहा वहाँ पर. इसलिए वहाँ पर अच्छा इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशन रहा. वो एक कारण रहा होगा, क्योंकि जो आदमी होते हैं वो व्यक्ति से डील करते हैं. जो होंडा मोटर्स की आप बात कर रहे हैं, दे हैव लॉट ऑफ एग्जाम्पल. क्या हुआ था मुझे पता है, बिकॉज द पीपल हु वर मैनेजिंग द शो वेरी डिफरेंट एंड द कल्चर वर वेरी डिफरेंट, एंड वी हैड दैट प्रॉब्लम ओवर देयर. बट जस्ट टू अगेन reiterate, because of the practices, the way we inculcate the culture in Honda Sale Cars or the Honda cars, that is one of the great companies to work for, because of the people who were managing the show. Is all about people, is all about leadership, right? And the second point, he said that कि जो 35 साल के बच्चे होते हैं, लड़के होते हैं, they may not be great leaders, may or may not be true, may हो सकता है. No, I'll answer that. But just to tell you that, because I have worked for 20 years in brick and mortar organizations, hardcore manufacturing company. For last 2 years, I'm in the internet space. I can relate. But if you see that in today's world, all the big entrepreneurs of today are roughly 35, 32, 33 years of age. Having said that, they need to learn. But we cannot ignore the fact that these guys are driving the economy. They may have something. We need to learn from those guys. At the same time, I must tell you that I'm working with the managing directors, who's 35 years of age, founder of Jabong.com. He's 32, 33 years of age. They are very keen to understand the lessons of management. That's what they have.